Hey everyone, this is a topic that isn't common at all in my channel. It's still something that's caught to my attention and I really want to treat it as both a rant and a call-out post. My English isn't perfect, but a lot of subtitles for both English and Spanish. As most of you probably don't know, I really enjoy making videos about outcome memories, mostly due because of my love for the game itself. It's incredibly fun and well made, filled with details and references to a lot of pieces of media, as well as being incredibly skill expressive with some of its characters, both the one EXE and some of the survivors. What most of you probably do know is the existence of the future update 0.2 or version 0.2, which will include new survivors, Terror and Blaze, and Cheer Killers, Colossus and Tripwire. Additionally, a lot of cosmetics, supposedly elements within cutscenes, and a few more game modes and maps will be added, so that's Fleetwave Supersonic later on after they rework his currently overpowered moveset. The outfit itself is great. The content looks so polished and well designed that it's almost impossible to ignore and call it a bad update. The real issue comes to how the developers handled the bring-up of the update, releasing hundreds and hundreds of sneak peeks of the content before it's been released. This, at its core, doesn't do the update bad whatsoever. However, the sneak peeks they release usually show incredibly polished content, which leads to the sensation that the update is really close, which is not. The update was originally meant to be released around the half of October, or more specifically around the date of the 20th or 21st. The current date is Friday 18th, and there's still no update. The delay was kind of reasonable. The developers were stressed. They have lives outside of the game, and it's okay if they feel pushed by more than one thing at a time. It makes sense. The next fake date was October 31st, Halloween. A promise that didn't end up becoming true, and at last, and probably the most hope-inducing date of the release we've ever had, was the first 2 weeks of November. Quite a large margin compared to the one-day margin of Halloween. The 2 weeks meant that the deadline was November 16th at 11:59 PM, and then again, the promise wasn't made. The current date of release is uncertain, and our hopes are on the floor. The update feels like it will take more than a month until it's released. Hopefully less. But just because we put a deadline on November 30th doesn't mean anything at all at this point. Now we're going to dive a little deeper into the conditions that have led to the genuine frustration of the entire community, starting by the previously mentioned delays, or more specifically, the last one, made yesterday, precisely around the late night November 17th. Romeo, one of the co-owners of the game, made a Twitter or X post making a fake exposure post on Lonely, another one of the developers of the game. The Google Doc address says the following. What the fuck? Instead of giving an actual reason for the delay, he told a joke? Why? Just why? The other one of the reasons is the amount of leads and clues that leads to anyone to assume that the team is straight up incompetent at managing their time and resources, considering they resorted to abandoning Fleetway and placing him in a hotfix that'll come later, which doesn't really bother almost anyone, in exchange of their releasing the update earlier, which obviously didn't work. So what most of the community, including myself, are inclined to assume is that despite cutting themselves some work from the update by taking care of Fleetway later, they still didn't manage to meet their deadline. It's almost natural to assume that they're either lazy or just not good enough or qualified enough to meet their own expectations. Another one of the reasons is the fact that the testers exist. Testers are specific community members that by one way or another manage to earn a panel that allows them to play characters that haven't been released to the public just yet. I, myself, have encountered every single one of these characters. I've encountered Silver, Blaze, Honey, Shadow, Colossus, and Fleetway, the only one missing being Tripwire, Shadow and Honey being meant for later updates, in the case of Shadow being as polished as Silver and Blaze currently are, although kind of unbalanced. As you all can tell, this is incredibly unfair for the community, since it feels like some sort of VIP club or privileged society that simply hits the toys before the other kids, which is subjectively unfair, and therefore pisses off the community. Thankfully, Zoe has stated that the testers will be gone after the update, and that's kind of a relief, but they still exist. And considering we don't know when the update will be released, we don't know how long they'll be around for. The last reason is the developers' urge to release everything at once. They feel like they need to make it big or make it as good as possible all at once, despite it not being necessary for the community at all. What I mean by this is that I, for instance, wouldn't mind if they release a character per month. That's more than enough for me. But in the 0.2, they're planning to add everything they can, fix as many bugs as they can find, tweak almost every single character, and basically recode the entire game. I don't know how to scrape or anything about programming, but I do know about my standards, and they're similar to the rest of the communities. We don't need a giant patch that adds characters, mechanics, gimmicks, maps, and all that stuff. Most of us will be fine with monthly or 3 weekly updates. They have shown that they are able to add things individually, considering they added cosmetics, map changes, and emotes before. I know all the stuff isn't the same as a whole new character. And that'd be right if it weren't for the fact they keep adding stuff to private servers, whole new characters, and some are well made, unbalanced but well made. They have animations, LMS themes, some have voice lines, some have stunts, heals, very good mobility, and one of the killers even has a worldwide teleport that sends everyone to their previous location. Despite this, I think their ambition is admirable, especially if they were actually able to do it and had time to commit to it, which allegedly they don't. So most people think it's better to just play it safe and think it'll be easier for them to release stuff bit by bit, or periodically. The developers have made mistakes, and it's more than obvious. And even they know it. This is not a conspirational video. They are trying their best to improve the game. They do care about the game. It's just a bunch of accidents and awful choices being made at awful times. They are young, most of them ranging from 17 to 18. And they lack experience when it comes to marketing, management, and probably even programming, which is understandable. Don't get me wrong. All these critiques and ranting comes from the heart, from a person that genuinely enjoys the game, playing it often in a healthy way so it doesn't feel dried out. And I really love how well made the game is. It's hype, it's fun, it requires some level of skill, strategy, and it's full of iconic Sonic characters. On the last note, I don't want anyone to harass any of these developers and hard workers that, also what you think, do put some effort into this game, at least to some extent. Let's focus on seeing the game as the masterpiece it is, instead of something that requires content to be decent. It's peak already, at least I see it that way. Good luck to all developers, good luck to the community, and I hope the update is just as peak as the game. And God bless everyone. See you soon.